that personal life really feeds the professional life.
It does.
And so if that personal life is not strong and solid and joy and love, all of that there,
Yes.
then your professional life is going to reflect that.
It is going to reflect that, especially for us moms, who, parents, if you have kids.
Yes.
And I often use this exercise where I say, okay, if I'm up against a tight deadline and I'm spending a lot more hours at work, but if I get a phone call about my kid, does what I'm doing really matter? And I always use that test to see if what I'm doing now, that deadline is so important, how does that compare to a bad phone call about my kid or even my husband?
Right.
And it never compares. And that's the barometer, that's a test I use to know I'm out of balance. Let me step back and let me check in with my family.
I think that's worth repeating, because that is a really wonderful trick.
Yes.
Because we, as good intention as we might be,
Yes.
sometimes we fall out of balance. It
Yes.
happens.
It does.
All right. So for people out there that are like, oh my gosh, I'm so frazzled and I feel like I'm out of balance, what's your trick again?
My trick is, have this thought. If I get a phone call right this minute that says that my kid is in the hospital or something's bad happened to my husband, does what I'm doing really matter right now, or would you drop everything that you're doing right now to rush to your kid's side or to rush to your spouse's side? And if the answer is yes, and it should be, then that is your priority at this moment. And it's time to check back in with family.
Yes, that's a really
Check back in.
Yes, wonderful words of advice. So balance in all entrepreneurs,
Yes.
I'm sure, is a problem, especially with women. What are some other mistakes that you find that women in business do?
Well, clarity.
Okay,
Getting into business without knowing why.
Okay.
Not knowing your why. And it sounds like a cliche because we've heard, what is your why? But even myself, I've started ventures before because it seems like the right thing to do, but halfway through I'm wondering why? Yes. Why is this worth it? Because business is tough. Being an entrepreneur is hard. It is going to be tough. But if you have a convincing why, that's going to keep you through the tough times,
right.
Having that why. So being clear as to why you're doing what you're doing is so important. And that's something I start my coaching with clarification. Why are you doing this?
Yes.
So that you have an anchor for later on when business does get tough. You go back to your why.
Yes. Your why is really your anchor.
Yes,
Am I wrong?
It is your anchor, yes.
And I can see this now. It's very clear to me. I love talking to you. Is that you have your anchor, you have your why.
Yes.
You have things coming at you. Oh, come and do this, come and do that. Well, if they don't align with that why,
yes,
then maybe it's something you shouldn't be embarking on.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because another trick that I use is going into any project. You have to know what your values are. It goes back to the family again.
True.
What do you value? What is your value system? Because when the things come at you, you're going to measure those things against your values. Does this align with my values? Is it contradicting my values? If family is my highest value, and I'm being asked to fly all over the place for speaking, well, if I've already gone twice for the month,
yes,
then the third one is going to be a no.
Right.
Because it's going to be counter to my values.
Right.
So you have to know what your values are. What are your core values? And that's how you should make your decisions in business, based on your core values.
That's really wonderful words of advice. It really is for all of us.
Yes.